Senior Sister, Shut Up. By Honeyjuice Consort. Chapter 21, Senior Sister is not as vicious as you. The political work group during the military training was a temporary organization in charge of carrying out all kinds of cultural and sporting activities during the training period. At the top was the leadership team formed by military instructors and professors. In the middle were the various class assistants, and below them were the members chosen from the first-year students. The main tasks included photography, publicity, copywriting, activity planning, venue arrangements, and so on. The advantage was that members didn't need to participate in the military training. Of course, this didn't mean that it was easy. After all, although these jobs seemed straightforward, there could be a significant difference in the workload. If the requirements were strict, the political work group might not complete their tasks even if they pulled all-nighters. But if the requirements were lenient, it could indeed be a good place to slack off. Fortunately, young people had a wide range of interests these days, so the political work group was usually not short of people. In addition, the work at the School of Business was generally quite relaxed. As a class assistant, Su Huizhou could easily get someone in. Since there was a place for Zhang Miao to slack off and rest while also working on his writing, he obviously wouldn't refuse. In any case, it was just the political work group, not the publicity department of the Youth Association, so he shouldn't encounter Senior Sister often. With the new school year about to start, the Youth Association had many tasks. It was already very good that Senior Sister could spare the time to come to the sports field every day to check on the first years. Kanji boss, it seems you've been releasing in the early morning recently. Why are you staying up so late? As soon as Zhang Miao returned to his dorm room, he received a message from Kanji boss. Peach Jam, boss, I'm in military training. I only have time to write at night. Kanji boss, right, I totally forgot. Ha ha ha. Kanji boss, take it easy. Don't die from overwork. Kanji boss, if your body can't take it, ask for leave. Class assistants are usually pretty understanding. Peach Jam, thanks. I actually just applied for leave. I'm in my room now. Kanji boss, good lord, are you feeling okay? Peach Jam, I was standing under the sun earlier, and my head was pounding. I'm much better now. Kanji boss, that's good. I'm still counting on you to keep writing. Peach Jam, you heartless thing. At least Senior Sister cares about me. Kanji boss? Kanji boss, what happened? Can that Senior Sister actually care about you like that? She's not even close to you. Peach Jam, she personally brought me boba today. Kanji boss, that's it. Peach Jam, as soon as I told her I wasn't feeling well, she asked for leave for me. Kanji boss, oh. Peach Jam, and she even invited me to join the political work group. Now I can slack off and write during the day. Kanji boss, that's pretty good. Lock you in a room to write. Peach Jam, Senior Sister isn't as vicious as you. After chatting with Kanji boss for a while, Zhang Miao fell asleep on his bed. When he woke up, it was already 3 p.m. Still feeling groggy from just waking up, Zhang Miao sat up and stretched. However, he felt much more refreshed than he had in the morning. He had slept for a few hours and skipped lunch, and his stomach was now growling. He climbed out of bed and was about to use the bathroom before heading out to search for food, but when he turned his head, he saw a sausage roll on his desk. A with grave S. Next to it was a familiar sticky note. Sticky note, I saw you were still sleeping at noon, so I bought a roll for you. Eat when you wake up. Is this what having a Prince Charming is like? Zhang Miao inexplicably felt a bit dazed, almost thinking he was Sleeping Beauty. But he quickly returned to his senses and shook his head, throwing this terrifying thought out of his head. While chewing the bun that Wang Xin bought, he sat down and opened his laptop, intending to get some writing done before dinner. While waiting for his laptop to boot up, he took out his phone and sent Wang Xin a thank you message. Then he opened the author's dashboard and checked his data. Daily report. Total reading lists, 3081. Next, he looked at the comments. No way, no way. Don't tell me there are really single dogs coming here to eat this dog food? I'm so foolish. I don't have a girlfriend to share this dog food with. Further down, after the part describing the handsomeness of the main character, a group of people jumped out and transformed into masters of immersion. At the end of the first chapter, when the female lead confessed her feelings, the comments rolled in. What position do I have to sleep in to have dreams like this? Is that it? I'm not envious at all. Starting with a confession in the first chapter. I like it. There were so many new comments that it took Zhang Miao a good 3 minutes to read through them all. Although most of them were just joking around, with many comments saying the same thing, he still enjoyed reading them. The positive feedback in the comments was extremely encouraging for an author. Of course, the premise was that there were no negative comments. Otherwise, a single bad comment would be like rat poop in a pot of soup, ruining the author's mood for an entire day. But right now, the situation seemed to be good. On Zidian's data platform, the stats for the past 4 days were already out. Leading the future Hokage to build high-speed railways had a total increase of 1,560 reading lists and still held the top spot. Zhang Miao's My Girlfriend is a Content Creator ranked second with an increase of 1,421. The previously promising Tokyo's One Punch had inexplicably tanked after the second day. The total growth was only a little more than 1,000, and it even failed to squeeze into the top 3. Now, the third place was held by Soul Fight, starting from inheriting the martial Soul Palace, with an increase of 1,270. Judging from the current reading list count, the daily increase thanks to the recommendation, and the comments every day, Zhang Miao's chance of securing a spot in the next round of recommendations was pretty much guaranteed. Because Zidian would send notifications for recommendation spots on Friday afternoons, the final decision for the next round of recommendations was usually on Wednesday or Thursday. Given the performance of My Girlfriend is Content Creator over the past few days, the chances of it directly jumping to the weekly featured list were slim, but securing a spot in the popular picks on the desktop version was almost a sure thing. However, Zhang Miao couldn't resist private messaging his editor. Peach Jam, boss, how am I doing now? After about half an hour of writing, the editor finally replied. Editor Night's Rest, 500 follow-up reads, not bad. Editor Night's Rest, next week, you'll get a spot in popular picks on the PC side. Try not to miss any releases. Peach Jam, got it. After obtaining concrete news from his editor, Zhang Miao immediately felt a surge of relief and was full of motivation to write. In the blink of an eye, almost 2 hours passed, and he completed a standard 1,467-word new chapter. To make sure the chapter was over 1,500 words, he added a hook at the end, either an intriguing conversation or a thought-provoking conclusion to keep the reader eager to continue reading. With this done, the chapter was complete. Jojo loves kanji, how's your rest? Just as Zhang Miao was about to go downstairs for dinner, he received Senior Sister. Miao Miao is deep in thought, I took a nap and feel much better. Jojo loves kanji, then it's time for dinner, right? Come downstairs. The class assistants are treating. Miao Miao is deep in thought, Senior Sister, there's no need for you to spend money. Jojo loves kanji, who said I'm treating? Anyway, hurry up. I need someone to be a wingman. Miao Miao is deep in thought. Chapter 22, Junior Brother, were you secretly doing something? When Zhang Miao went downstairs and arrived at the entrance of the cafeteria in Ziyuya Commons, he saw Senior Sister waving at him from a distance. It wasn't that he was particularly sensitive to Senior Sister's presence and could see her at a glance in the crowd. It was just that the school year hadn't officially started for the second and third years yet, so the cafeteria was mostly full of first years wearing military training uniforms. Thus, Senior Sister in casual clothes was quite conspicuous. In particular, her fair and exquisite face formed a stark contrast to the bitter and tired first years undergoing military training around her. At this point, most first-year girls were still in their high school mindset and didn't really know how to dress up. In addition, after a few days of military training and being exposed to the sun, there was really nothing worth seeing. Zhang Miao walked over to Senior Sister. She pointed to a spot not far away, and he noticed 2 other seniors in casual clothes. One of them was Zhang Panfan, the other class assistant, and the other Senior Sister, whose long hair cascaded over half of her face, was difficult for Zhang Miao to make out from his angle. This is my roommate, Shen Yu. Su Huizhou wrapped her arm around the slender waist of the girl beside her and introduced her with a smile. She even winked at Zhang Miao secretly. With Senior Sister's hint, Zhang Miao naturally understood. He glanced at Senior Zhang Panfan and Senior Sister Shen Yu with a strange expression. Senior Zhang, who was usually very outgoing around the guys, suddenly became very reserved and shy in front of Senior Sister Shen Yu. He stood at a loss like a nervous young boy. Shen Yu kept her head lowered, her gaze fixed on the floor, too timid to meet anyone's eyes. Zhang Miao only heard a very faint hello, junior brother, so he replied politely, hello, senior sister. Come on, let's go line up to buy food. Su Huizhou pulled Shen Yu and entered the line, with the two boys following behind. Then she pulled Zhang Panfan to the front and positioned him behind Shen Yu. I want to talk to junior brother about something. Zhang Miao watched as Zhang Panfan went from stiff to completely rigid, standing there so tense that he couldn't move. With great difficulty, he finally managed to force out a sentence. What do you want to eat? Then Shen Yu shook her head, her waist-length hair swaying like silk. She said something softly, but at this distance, Zhang Miao couldn't hear anything. What do you think? Su Huizhou whispered into Zhang Miao's ear, leaning in close. Zhang Miao instinctively took half a step back to avoid senior sister's close-range attack. He felt a ticklish warmth on his ear from her breath. Too close, senior sister. He couldn't understand why she was so unguarded against him. What do you mean? I mean those two. Didn't I tell you about them before? I know. But I didn't expect it to be so serious. Zhang Miao touched his forehead, not knowing where to start. This isn't a matter of having wingmen anymore, right? That's right. Su Huizhou shrugged. It's mostly up to them now. It's actually already very good now. In the past, they would blush like crazy just being this close and couldn't even talk. So, why did you ask me to come? Zhang Miao looked helpless. Wingmen are useless in this situation. To have dinner with me, of course, Su Huizhou said matter-of-factly. I wrote a leave slip for you. It's not too much to accompany me for a meal, is it? It's not. Besides, eating with them is too exhausting. They can barely say anything. It's like pulling teeth to get them to talk normally. Su Huizhou sighed. It's draining. Senior sister, you've worked hard. After getting their meals, the four of them found seats in a corner and sat down. Zhang Miao believed that anything could be material, so it didn't matter who he ate with. It was quite interesting to watch the shy interactions between Senior Zhang and Senior Sister Shen. He couldn't help wondering how these two got together. Logically speaking, with the problems of fear of women and social anxiety, they shouldn't have even gotten to know each other, right? Jojo loves kanji, they met online. Jojo loves kanji, apparently, they can chat online normally. They're even quite talkative. But they're scared the moment they meet in person. Meow Meow is deep in thought. The internet is truly amazing. Jojo loves kanji, I think so too. Su Huizhou smiled meaningfully at Zhang Miao, but he didn't pay much attention and only felt that her smile was really beautiful. He had promised himself to keep his distance from senior sister, but they were becoming closer and closer. He took a bite of his food and felt that something was wrong. Heaven could testify that he was really passive in all this. It was all senior sister's initiative. They finished dinner with difficulty. Su Huizhou nudged the two to go for a walk to digest their food before grabbing Zhang Miao and making a quiet getaway. Senior sister, I took leave today, so I don't need to go to military training, right? Zhang Miao asked as they headed back to the campus. He planned to get some writing done and strive to finish his 3,000 words today as soon as possible. But with senior sister dragging him along, there was nothing he could do. I'm not taking you back to the field. Su Huizhou walked in front while casually twirling her beautiful hair. I'm taking you to the office of the political work group to get you familiar with the place and the work. You can go there directly tomorrow. Thank you for the trouble, senior sister. It's no trouble. Senior sister turned her head and smiled faintly. It's on the way. 10 minutes later, Zhang Miao stood in front of the door of room 211 in the multipurpose building and finally understood what senior sister meant by on the way. Looking to the left was the familiar room 213, the office of the Youth Association's publicity department. So, senior sister's office is next door? Isn't this a bit too coincidental? Excuse me. Su Huizhou knocked on the door, pushed it open, and entered with Zhang Miao. I've brought you a newcomer. In the future, he'll be handling writing tasks like Chen Lai. In the evening, there were few people in the office, with only 3 people at the 7 or 8 desks. Some were still out having dinner and had not returned, while others had completed their tasks for the day and gone back to rest. Because there were quite a number of people in this year's political work group, everyone was quite relaxed. At least they didn't have to stay up late to get work done. Just familiarize yourself first. There's not much to do today. Su Huizhou brought him to the desk in the far corner and sat down. Feel free to use the computer. As long as you finish your writing tasks, you're free to do whatever you like. Okay. Zhang Miao sat down and looked around. He found that this place was quite good. It was tucked away in a corner where no one paid attention, very safe. I'm usually next door. Su Huizhou pointed in the direction of room 213. If you have any questions, you can look for me directly. Thank you, senior sister. You're welcome. Su Huizhou smiled and patted his shoulder. Good luck. I'll leave first. After she left, the three students in the office all looked at Zhang Miao curiously as though they had seen something magical. Only Zhang Miao didn't feel anything unusual and couldn't wait to turn on the computer. He planned to download his writing software and sneak in some time to write. 10 o'clock at night. The last remaining student besides Zhang Miao packed up and prepared to leave. Remember to turn off the lights when you leave. Got it. Goodbye. Zhang Miao nodded and continued writing for a few minutes. He uploaded the latest chapter to the author's dashboard and scheduled it for release tomorrow morning. Then he leaned back in his chair and let out a deep breath. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Su Huizhou poked her head in, and their eyes immediately met. Zhang Miao panicked and quickly closed the writing software and author's dashboard. Why are you still here so late? Su Huizhou walked in with a playful smile. Junior brother, were you secretly doing something bad alone? Chapter 23, All Love Will Deteriorate. September 5th, Friday morning. At 6 o'clock, alarm clocks went off one after another. Brothers! Get up! Sun Liang sprang out of bed and shouted energetically as he beat his blanket like a frenzied ape. Wang Xian had already folded his blanket and quietly climbed down to wash up. On the opposite bed, Chen Haosheng was nowhere to be seen as usual. He had left the dormitory early, and no one knew what he went to do. Only Zhang Miao was still lying on his bed with his blanket covering his head. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore and poked his head out helplessly. Dog, be quiet. I'm still asleep. Brother Zhang, get up. Be careful not to be late and have to run laps as punishment. Sorry, no military training for me today. What? You took leave again? Sun Liang was baffled. Is senior sister so easy to talk to? 2 days off. Oh, no. Zhang Miao buried himself under his blanket again, and a muffled voice came from inside. Senior sister was afraid that my body wouldn't be able to take it, so she pulled me into the political work group. Damn. Sun Liang immediately felt unbalanced. My body can't take it either. Why isn't senior sister concerned about me? It can't be helped. My face is a gift from my parents. Dog, just let it go. Screw you. I'm taking you down with me. The next second, Sun Liang got out of his bed and climbed the opposite ladder onto Zhang Miao's bed. Fuck. Zhang Miao felt the movement and quickly kicked him. Don't come up. Get lost. Brother Zhang, you don't love me anymore. Prince. Your dog is biting people. After the commotion, Zhang Miao couldn't sleep anymore. He followed Sun Liang into the bathroom, and the two of them brushed their teeth in front of the mirror. By the time they finished washing up, Wang Xian had already cleaned the room. The 4 chairs were neatly tucked under the desks, with the legs perfectly aligned with the floor tiles. Looking from the doorway to the balcony, the entire room gave off a sense of orderly comfort. If I were a girl, I'd definitely find a man like Prince, Sun Liang declared solemnly. Guys can do it too. Dog, don't be so rigid about gender. No. Wang Xian glanced at the two of them. My orientation is straight. Sun Liang looked up at the sky and said melancholically, love comes and goes too quickly. In the blink of an eye, it's over. You're so dramatic. The 3 of them walked out of the room, chatting casually on the way to the cafeteria. After breakfast, they rushed to the sports field, and Zhang Miao waved at the 2 of them kindly, like a parent sending his children to school. Be careful and don't quarrel with the instructor, understand? Get lost. Sun Liang raised his middle finger and joined Wang Xian in the line. Zhang Miao took a relaxing stroll around the campus and eventually made his way to room 211 in the multipurpose building. After entering, he greeted the 2 students inside and came to his designated desk. This morning, most of the photography team had gone to the sports field to capture scenes, so the copywriting team had little to do. They only needed to collect reflections on the military training from various classes and choose a few that fit the theme. In the afternoon, the photography team returned and handed in their work for the day. It was then up to the copywriting team to create the corresponding captures and narratives based on these photos and videos. Then, at night, their work would be handed over to the students responsible for designing offline posters and managing the social media accounts to make the final arrangements. The entire process wasn't complicated, and Zhang Miao was merely a small cog in the machine. With his skill level, handling this type of copywriting was relatively easy. Throughout the day, he basically worked for 2 to 3 hours, leaving plenty of time for writing. However, as the saying went, combining work and rest was the healthiest way to work. Thus, for the remaining 8 to 9 hours, Zhang Miao spent half of his time chatting in the author's group chat. I am the immortal emperor, damn, I'm so envious. Peach already has 3,000 followers, but I haven't even signed the contract. Cat in the snow, immortal, get over it. When Peach hits 10,000 reading lists, you might still not have a signed contract. White rice vinegar. I told Immortal long ago that he doesn't quite grasp original fantasy. If it's just to make money, he's better off writing fanfiction. I am the immortal emperor, damn you, dog vinegar. 30 years east, 30 years west. Just wait. I'll become a big shot author next year and cut off your dog head. White rice vinegar, let's talk about it after you get your manuscript approved by Kaishan. White rice vinegar, Kaishan is famous for being lenient. If you can't get a pass from him, then you'd better stick to writing fanfiction. Peach Jam, good luck, immortal. I'm waiting for you to cut down white vinegar. I am the immortal emperor, Peach understands me the best. Cat in the snow, in terms of fanning the flames, Peach is definitely the best. Peach Jam, I didn't. I truly believe immortal can rise. I am the immortal emperor, Peach, wait for me. Once I'm signed, we'll promote each other. We won't include dog vinegar. I am the immortal emperor, then we'll work together and crush white vinegar. White rice vinegar, focus on getting signed first. I am the immortal emperor. Hanging out in the author's group chat was too fun, and Zhang Miao couldn't control himself at all. After an entire day, he had only managed to write about 2,000 words. He would have to continue working hard at night. Just as he was about to pack up and go out for dinner, the office door opened, and Su Huizhou walked in. As soon as Zhang Miao saw senior sister enter, he immediately closed all the dubious windows on his computer, leaving only the document he used for copywriting. By the time she had greeted the other students and walked to his side, he had already eliminated all the potential breaches. Safety level full. How are you adapting? Doing okay. Su Huizhou leaned her right hand on the desk and glanced at the monitor with a smile in her eyes. Just let me know if you have any questions. There's no problem. The tasks are pretty simple. Zhang Miao tidied up the desk and stood up. Thanks, senior sister. Su Huizhou didn't answer him directly. Instead, she turned her head to look out of the window and said casually, I'm kinda craving some boba. Ahem, this hint was too obvious. Zhang Miao said straightforwardly, senior sister, let me treat you. Okay, let's go. Su Huizhou clapped her hands and nodded in satisfaction. You're finally getting it. Your hint was too obvious. That's because you're too slow to catch on. She patted his shoulder and sighed with a worried expression. I have already treated you so many times, but you haven't returned the favor even once. How are you going to get girls to like you like that? I don't intend to date anyone. Not planning to date in college? Be careful. You might end up single for life. I have more important things to do. Zhang Miao became serious when they talked about this subject. For me, dating is optional, and more often than not, it will just be a waste of time. Hey? That's a really unique view. What about you, senior sister? I bet you have plenty of people pursuing you, right? Me? Su Huizhou looked up at the sky that was embraced by the evening glow. After thinking for a while, she said, I think love is an illusion. Given enough time, all love will deteriorate. Rather than waiting for it to deteriorate and hurt yourself one day, it's better not to have it in the first place. Chapter 24, Secret Even Parents Don't Know. Senior sister. It feels strange for you to look like you've seen through the world and become disillusioned. You still have the cheek to say that about me. Su Huizhou rolled her eyes at him. Aren't you not planning to date either? I just have more important things to do. Dating is a lower priority, but it doesn't mean I'll never do it. Is that so? Su Huizhou looked at him with a curious smile. Then, what are the more important things you're talking about? Zhang Miao choked on his words. It's a personal secret, so I won't say it for now. Now even I can know. Not even my parents know. So mysterious. Su Huizhou sized him up and grinned mischievously. Those who don't know might think that you're secretly saving the world or something. You're indeed someone who reads web novels. You have a rich imagination. When they arrived at the bubble tea shop downstairs, Zhang Miao treated senior sister to a cup, and the two of them went to the cafeteria for dinner. When he sat down with his tray across from her, he looked at her long hair cascading down in her beautiful face and fell into a daze. Why do I feel like I'm getting used to it? I need to stay alert. Zhang Miao silently reminded himself, but he couldn't think of a good solution. But on second thought, senior sister herself said she wasn't planning to fall in love, so what's there to worry about? If we're just friends, as long as my identity as Peach Jam isn't exposed, I have to say that senior sister is indeed an excellent friend. Not only does she share common interests with me, but she's also a fan of my novel. She can provide insights into how female readers perceive my work. Some of her opinions had been quite novel to Zhang Miao. The association recruitment event is tomorrow night, Su Huizhou said while eating stir-fried beef. Your senior sister Qi is waiting for you two to sign up. Don't disappoint her. Yes, I remember. Zhang Miao nodded. He definitely had to sign up. After all, he had already committed to it. However, wouldn't it be fine if he signed up and underperformed during the interview to get rejected? At that time, he would just stammer and not be able to say anything. He couldn't possibly sign up successfully like that, right? If that happened, he would be the first to step forward and report any shady dealings. But are you really not going to join the youth association? Su Huizhou asked with a smile. With me protecting you inside, you definitely won't be treated poorly. Forget it. I heard the youth association is quite busy. Zhang Miao declined politely again. I prefer to have free time to do my own things. The debate team is enough. Whether or not he'd be treated poorly was uncertain, but he knew that joining the youth association would significantly increase the chances of his identity being exposed. With his urge of wanting to check the author's dashboard every half an hour, it would be really easy for senior sister to discover him if he did it too many times. Therefore, it was better to avoid finding trouble for himself. Oh, right, have you read the new chapters that Peach Jam released yesterday? Su Huizhou's eyes were sparkling with excitement. She wrote out that female supporting character. It seems she doesn't intend to write about her in the story anymore. Oh, I saw that too, Zhang Miao said calmly. The author probably has her own considerations after receiving reader feedback. Removing a supporting character won't affect the main storyline. I feel quite satisfied. Su Huizhou smiled contentedly. It was really uncomfortable to read about that female character before. I couldn't even enjoy the dog food anymore. It's great now. You seem to be following the novel closely. Zhang Miao probed indirectly. That's right. I check it every day and read it as soon as there's a release. Su Huizhou took out her phone. Look, it's pinned with update notifications and automatic subscription set up. I'll receive a notification as soon as there's a new chapter. That's quite dedicated. Zhang Miao glanced at senior sister's reading list. Most of them were familiar titles. But the only pinned novel was My Girlfriend is a Content Creator. What should I do? I'm feeling a little touched. A fan like this has to be cherished. Senior sister, didn't you say you aren't interested in dating? Why do you enjoy reading these slice-of-life romance novels? That's not contradictory, right? Su Huizhou tilted her head. It's precisely because I don't believe in love in reality that I read fiction. It's like the Butterfly Lovers or Romeo and Juliet. They're fictional love stories, so they're beautiful. Looking for love in real life is not as good as reading romance novels. That actually makes quite a bit of sense. However, Zhang Miao wrote this novel because of his own intermittent desire to fall in love, so he simply started writing a romance novel, working on a web novel while satisfying his own fantasies at the same time. And now, senior sister is reading this novel to satisfy her fantasies of love? Wow! So, does that mean I'm closely connected to senior sister? Bah! Zhang Miao wanted to slap himself to snap out of it. After a difficult dinner, Zhang Miao and Su Huizhou returned to the multipurpose building together. In the evening, Zhang Miao had little work to do in the political work group. It was mainly the students responsible for editing posters and managing the official social media accounts who were busy. However, it was quite comfortable to write while enjoying the free air conditioner in the office, so he simply continued to stay here and finished the remaining 1,000 words for the day. When it was almost 9 o'clock and the military training was about to end, Zhang Miao packed up and left the multipurpose building. He wanted to avoid being caught senior sister late at night again. Last night, she had even suspected that he was secretly doing something bad on the computer. He had clearly been doing what senior sister liked the most, writing. With this thought in mind, Zhang Miao walked on the asphalt path under the night sky and arrived at the exit of the sports field. From afar, he heard the whistle of the instructors announcing the end of the military training for the day. A few seconds later, he saw a black shadow darting out and speeding away on an electric scooter. If Zhang Miao wasn't mistaken, the black shadow should be his roommate who went missing every day. Then he saw another figure running out of the sports field while panting heavily and looking around anxiously. Seeing Zhang Miao, the young figure hesitated for a moment, seemingly gathering courage, before walking over and asking quietly, Excuse me, may I ask if a tall boy ran out just now? Yes, he just left on an electric scooter. Zhang Miao looked at the girl's face under the light of the roadside. We've met before, right? You're Chen Heshang's girlfriend, right? The girl, who had been looking down, looked up at Zhang Miao and immediately remembered him as Chen Heshang's roommate. Her face flushed bright red. No, no. We're not dating. Please don't misunderstand. With such a strong reaction, even if they weren't dating, she most likely had feelings for him. Also, House Hang is actually a really nice person. He just doesn't talk to people usually. If he has offended you in any way, I apologize on his behalf. If there are any problems with him, please let me know. Sorry to trouble you. After blurting out everything in one breath, the girl bowed deeply, surprising Zhang Miao so much that he took half a step back. It's okay. You don't have to. Before he could finish speaking, the girl, already blushing furiously, squeaked and ran away, leaving him standing there with his mouth slightly open. Wait, at least give me a contact method. Otherwise, if something happens to Chen House Hang, how am I supposed to inform you? Sighing, Zhang Miao decided not to dwell on it anymore. He took out his phone to record the new material first. Chapter 25, Dorm Room Girls Talk. What defined a dorm room? It depended on the people living in it. It was just like eating hot pot. The experience depended on the soup base, ingredients, and dipping sauces. Zhang Miao's college dorm room was a little special. The mysterious fourth roommate only appeared during military training and was nowhere to be seen at mealtimes. He didn't return to the room until 10:30 p.m., and as soon as he returned, he played games until 1 or 2 in the morning before finally going to bed. He never spoke a word the entire time, leaving everyone wondering how he managed to stay quiet. In addition to Chen House Hang, the other 3 roommates each had their own characteristics. There was no need to mention Wang Xin. Upon returning to the room after military training, the first thing he did was clean up and then perform some rituals to prepare for the first-year classes. His only form of entertainment was reading. However, he didn't read web novels, only the various miscellaneous books he had bought. Moreover, he liked to take notes and was often so absorbed that he couldn't pull himself away. Sun Liang couldn't sit still like these two. He alternated between playing games and reading novels, and every half hour, he had to get up to wander around the room, looking here and there. Zhang Miao had to hide in his bed every time he wanted to write, not daring to type below. Otherwise, he would definitely be discovered by this guy. But Sun Liang's range of activity wasn't limited to just their room. Carrying snacks, drinks, and beer, he frequently visited other dorm rooms. Seeing him become buddies with more than 10 neighboring rooms, Zhang Miao often thought about taking out his phone to record this so that his parents could witness it the next time they came to the school. Brother Zhang, are you watching movies in bed again? Sun Liang teased when he saw Zhang Miao leaning against the headboard and typing away on his keyboard. Yes, they're all your recommendations, Zhang Miao replied without changing his expression. It's just that a few of them are pretty hardcore. I didn't expect you to like guy-on-guy stuff. Don't slander me. Sun Liang was anxious and wanted to climb onto his bed. Zhang Miao quickly used his foot to push him away and shouted, if you come up again, it proves you really have that tendency. While the two of them were messing around, the other two roommates remained immersed in their own worlds, one gaming and the other reading, both seemingly being in different worlds. It wasn't until Sun Liang was pacified and settled back into his chair to continue browsing on his phone that Wang Xin, who had been reading, tidied up his desk, turned to Zhang Miao, and asked, "The association recruitment event is tomorrow night. Do you want to go check out the debate team together?" "Sure." Zhang Miao nodded while writing. "I'll find you tomorrow afternoon, and we can have dinner together." After receiving an affirmative answer, Wang Xin looked at Sun Liang. "You said you wanted to join the debate team with us." "I was just joking." Sun Liang rolled his eyes. "I've already made plans with my wife to join the sports association." Zhang Miao. F***ck, I really want to tear this guy's mouth apart. Here he was writing a romance novel, but he still had to eat the dog food produced by Sun Liang. It was beyond irritating. "Chen Haosheng, what about you?" Wang Xin looked at their roommate, who had been playing games all this time. Perhaps it was because Wang Xin often helped him clean up, but Chen Haosheng actually replied. "Not going." Sun Liang looked as if he had just heard a ghost story, staring at Chen Haosheng in shock. Then he looked at Wang Xin, wondering what kind of shady business these two had. Zhang Miao had previously invited Chen Haosheng into the class group chat, so they must have talked at some point. So, was he the only one being ignored? Zhang Miao could clearly tell what Sun Liang was thinking and couldn't help teasing, "You already have a wife, so don't think about other men, okay? Get lost." Kanji boss, picture. Kanji boss, this is the female lead's design. Remember to update the character profile. As Zhang Miao was about to turn off his laptop for the night, he received a message from Kanji boss. The image sent had a girl wearing a white halter top that exposed her navel. Her round shoulders and smooth and flat stomach were fair and alluring. She wore black dolphin shorts that accentuated her long, fair, and slender legs, immediately drawing attention. His gaze drifted back to the female lead's upper body, where her shoulder-length black hair cascaded down. Her face was tinged with a shy blush, one hand was tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, and her eyes were lowered, looking like she wanted to say something but couldn't quite bring herself to. "Peach Jam, boss, you're a god." "Peach Jam, ahem. Is there a special version by any chance?" "Kanji boss, I knew you'd ask for that." "Kanji boss, there isn't." "Peach Jam, no, boss. That's not what you said before." "Kanji boss, picture." "Kanji boss, I'm going to bed. Don't disturb me." Looking at the screen, Zhang Miao's eyes lit up. It was a sacred light. "Peach Jam, boss, you're the best." Zioya Commons, Building 30, Room 611, Midnight Su Huizhou was lying on her side on her bed. The fluorescent glow of her phone screen shone on her exquisite face, and the blush on her face was just like the one on the female lead in the picture she had drawn. Previously, she had thought Peach Jam was a girl, so it wasn't a big deal. But now, knowing that the person on the other end was the sunny and handsome junior brother Zhang Miao, she felt her face heat up in disdain for herself for not being able to hold back from sending the second picture. She had sworn she wouldn't draw it. But she had ended up drawing it anyway. And after finishing it, she had decided not to send it to Peach Jam. But the moment Peach Jam acted cute, she couldn't control her hands. "It's all junior brother's fault for being too adorable online. It's not my fault." Still, there was no way she should let junior brother find out she was Kanji boss. Otherwise, she would absolutely die on the spot. "Yu, is this the special situation you mentioned?" In the bed next to Su Huizhou, Shen Yu, whose long hair was lying loose over her shoulders, was sitting cross-legged with her pajamas carelessly wide open. She held a bag of chips in her hand and tilted her head at the bed curtain that was shaking from time to time. Pretty much, though it was more exaggerated before. Qi Lianyu sighed. Probably because she got a boyfriend, so it's eased a bit. Wow, big news. Shen Yu's eyes lit up as she clapped her hands excitedly. Is it that junior brother from before? Zhou's tone is different from when she talks to him. Yeah, his name is Zhang Miao. He's quite handsome. Ha 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 ha. Jojo actually wants to be an old cow eating young grass. Shut up. Su Huizhou's face turned bright red as she sat up and said in annoyance at Shen Yu, "Watch it, or I'll never be your wingman again." Don't be mad. Shen Yu climbed up the ladder and slipped into Su Hui's bed. She dove onto her, hugged Su Huizhou under her, and rubbed her face against her chest. Jojo, you're the best, I love you. Get off me. It's too hot. Hehe, I'll get off, but you have to tell me honestly. How far have you progressed with junior brother? Shen Yu didn't intend to let her go. Her face was full of mischievous curiosity as her hands roamed playfully. Here? Or here? Or maybe here? None of that. Su Huizhou blushed and pushed her away. Junior brother and I are totally innocent. There's no special relationship at all. Don't get the wrong idea. Yu, do you believe that? I don't believe it. I don't either. Believe what you want. Su Huizhou chased Shen Yu back to her own bed and pulled the bed curtain shut angrily. Feeling guilty, are we? Shen Yu giggled while shaking her head. Is junior brother coming to sign up for the debate team tomorrow? Qi Lianyu suddenly remembered. Jojo, do you want to do the interview? No way. Su Huizhou immediately stuck her head out to explain, I won't go to the debate team tomorrow. I'll be doing interviews for the youth association. Qi Lianyu looked puzzled. The youth association has Xiaoyun and the others, but the debate team doesn't have many people. Ahem. Anyway, I'm not going tomorrow. I'll be there for the evening meeting when the name list is out the day after tomorrow. You're not going when your dear junior brother will be there. Qi Lianyu was speechless. You're a vice-captain. This was precisely why she couldn't go, he would be there. Hey, why are you asking so many questions? It's settled then. Su Huizhou retracted her head back inside the bed curtain. Besides, I'm not going on stage for the debate team's exhibition match. Okay. Qi Lianyu didn't press further. Then I won't go to the youth association. Keep an eye on things tomorrow. Hey, we haven't finished the previous topic. Shen Yu shouted from the side. What's going on with Jojo and junior brother? Aren't they already together? Yu is just talking nonsense. She's always imagining things, Su Huizhou complained. If I said you've already kissed Zhang Panfan, would you agree? Of course I would. I'm looking forward to it. Su Huizhou. There was no way to chat today. If you were as brave as you are now, you would have long taken Zhang Panfan down, Su Huizhou retorted. I can't. Shen Yu collapsed onto her bed, resigned. The moment I step out of this room, I'm sealed. Zhang Panfan even took on the role of class assistant to overcome his issues. Su Huizhou wasn't letting up and attacked her again and again. Be careful of your cute senior being seduced by a first-year sister. Woohoo! Yu. Jojo is bullying me. Shen Yu whimpered on her bed and suddenly asked, oh, right. Yu, how are things with you and Zhao Lu? Qi Lianyu. You two were having a good chat. How did the conversation turn to me? That's right. Su Huizhou turned her gun. The captain of our debate team will be there tomorrow, right? It just so happens I'm not going to be a third wheel. Get lost, Qi Lianyu retorted. Who wants to fall in love? With Zhao Lu's personality, who would like him? Beating is kissing, and scolding is love. Ah, we understand. Shen Yu clapped and cheered. The bag of potato chips was almost empty. Are you done chatting? Go to sleep already. Qi Lianyu said impatiently. One of you is socially anxious, so you date online, and the other is an old cow eating young grass. How do you have the cheek to talk about me? Su Huizhou was exasperated. I'm not. It's old grass eating a young cow. Shen Yu shouted. Go to hell. This time, it was Su Huizhou's turn to invade enemy territory. Under Shen Yu's repeated pleas for mercy, Su Huizhou finally relented with a huff and retreated. The dorm room finally quieted down. The three girls lay down again, prepared to sleep. Before going to bed, Su Huizhou checked her phone, scrolled through the chat history of Kanji Boss and Jojo Loves Kanji, and reread today's new chapters. Teacher Chen, student Zhang can't fall asleep. What's wrong? I need a kiss on the cheek to fall asleep. Ah! How did junior brother write something like this? Su Huizhou's face was red, and her heart was thumping. Who knew if she was blushing from reading the novel or because of something else? There is no chapter 26. Chapter 27, Senior Sister still gives him special treatment. While Zhang Miao and Sun Liang were fooling around and Wang Xin was watching the show from the side, a tall girl approached them from the Department of Finance building not far away. Liang, it's time for dinner. The tall girl stopped in front of the three of them and grabbed Sun Liang's ear unceremoniously. This was the first time Zhang Miao saw Sun Liang's girlfriend. Rumor had it that they had met in the first-year group chat of the School of Business during the summer vacation. After she posted a photo, Sun Liang had relentlessly pursued her. No one knew how he had managed to win her over, but by the time school started, they were already dating, and it had taken him less than 3 days to make it official. In short, it was a world that Zhang Miao couldn't understand. I know, honey. Please let go. Sun Liang smoothly touched the back of his girlfriend's hand and called her honey. The girl's cheeks immediately turned red. The originally aloof and cold expression on her face softened, becoming more lively. After briefly getting to know this cool, elder sister-type girl, Zhang Miao and Wang Xian bade farewell to this lovey-dovey couple and went to the cafeteria for dinner. After they finished eating, it was almost 6 o'clock in the evening. At this moment, the association recruitment event had already begun, and the various academic buildings were packed with people. Everywhere you looked, it was a sea of heads. Since this week's recruitment event was for each department, with the university-wide associations holding their events after the military training ended, each department limited its recruitment to its respective building. After arriving at their department's building, Zhang Miao and Wang Xian didn't stop at the other association booths. They went straight to room 215 on the second floor, found a seat by the window, and sat down to wait. On the blackboard in the room was a large line of words: should we give monetary rewards to those who do good deeds? Do you support it? This should be the debate topic for tonight's exhibition match. Unlike other recruitments, the debate team's recruitment wasn't today. The students coming to sign up tonight were actually registering for the Department of Accounting's first-year debate competition. To become a member of the debate team of the Department of Accounting, they would have to undergo another interview after the competition to have a chance to join the team officially. Jojo loves kanji. Has the exhibition match started? Meow Meow is deep in thought. Senior sister, you also know about the exhibition match? Jojo loves kanji. Your senior sister Chi has been preparing the debate topics recently, so of course I know. Meow Meow is deep in thought. It should start soon. They said it starts at 6. Jojo loves kanji. How's the debate topic? Meow Meow is deep in thought. It's pretty interesting. It looks like a topic to make people think. Jojo loves kanji. I'll let you in on a secret. The debate topic is today's interview question. Meow Meow is deep in thought. Senior sister, it's not good for you to do this. I said I wouldn't go through the back door, but isn't senior sister practically forcing me to? Jojo loves kanji. It doesn't matter if you know in advance. The interview requirements aren't high anyway. Jojo loves kanji. Most of the key points will be covered during the exhibition match. First years only need to remember 1 or 2 of them to pass. But I don't want to pass. The corners of Zhang Miao's mouth twitched slightly, and he regretted talking about this with senior sister. With such a clear hint, if he still couldn't pass the interview, wouldn't that make him look like he had a problem with his intelligence? But it wasn't like there was no other way. He could just pretend to be too nervous to speak, then later excuse himself by saying he was too anxious and not suitable for debate. There would be nothing wrong with that. Meow Meow is deep in thought. Senior sister, aren't you busy now? Isn't the Youth Association also recruiting? Jojo loves kanji. If a deputy secretary has to get involved personally, then it's too much of a failure. As they continued to chat, 6 o'clock arrived. The moderator took the stage and briefly explained the rules of the exhibition match before announcing the participants to go on stage. The next moment, both sides, dressed sharply in formal attire, entered through the back door one by one and took their seats on opposite sides of the podium. There were a total of 8 people, 7 of whom were senior sisters and a gentle and lazy-looking boy as the 4th speaker on the affirmative side. On the opposition side, the 4th speaker was senior sister Qi Lianyu. Just as senior sister had said, the debate team was flourishing with yin and declining with yang. In that case, is the boy the captain of the debate team that senior sister mentioned? Just as Zhang Miao was thinking this, the exhibition match began. The first speaker on the affirmative side had 3 minutes to state their case and presented their arguments. Honestly, for people who didn't enjoy logical reasoning and rational discussion, debates were very boring. At the beginning, the classroom was at least 70% full with first years. But by the time both sides finished their opening statements, only about half of the audience remained. At a glance, there were probably only 50 to 60 people left in the room. Meow Meow is deep in thought. Senior sister, how many people will the first year debate competition recruit? Jojo loves kanji, it depends on the situation. If there aren't many people, there will be 6 teams, with 24 people minimum. If there are more people, there will be 8 teams, with at least 32. Jojo loves kanji, of course, it's best if there are more people. Otherwise, with just 4 people per team, it's easy to be short-handed if someone can't make it. After getting this answer, Zhang Miao breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness. Judging by the number of people in the classroom, there should be enough to form the teams. With his concern out of the way, Zhang Miao became slightly more forced and listened to the verbal confrontation between the seniors on stage. Sitting beside him, Wang Xin was much more serious. Not only did he listen attentively from start to finish, but he even took out his phone to record both sides' arguments, displaying a meticulous appearance that was almost terrifying. About half an hour later, the confrontation on stage became more and more heated, and the debate progressed to the most intense phase, the free debate segment. At this point, all 4 debaters from each side could take turns to stand up and speak. There was no restriction on who could speak or for how long, though the 2 teams had a total of 5 minutes each. But as the debate continued, it gradually became a direct confrontation between the 2 fourth speakers. Qi Lianyu stood up and asked, "May I ask, when giving out monetary rewards for doing good deeds, how should we distinguish good deeds and implement this?" Zhao Liu stood up with a smile. The details of the relevant regulations can be discussed later. So, is the other debater acknowledging that this policy is beneficial? Qi Lianyu shook her head solemnly. No. Once this policy is implemented, without the corresponding enforceable regulations, it's easy to be exploited by people with ulterior motives, turning it into a profitable racket and, ultimately, a cancer on society. Zhao Liu replied lazily, "It's not our duty to provide specific policies and regulations. In addition, making a profit from doing good deeds isn't inherently bad. Or are you suggesting that doing good deeds should be a strenuous and unrewarding task?" Qi Lianyu frowned and pressed further, "Good deeds can be rewarded, but they shouldn't become government mandated. Otherwise, it's equivalent to tying moral behavior to the law, with monetary rewards attached, which would only increase the unnecessary financial burdens." Zhao Liu replied casually, "Therefore, you still believe that good deeds should be placed on a pedestal and praised by all, but they can't be tainted by money? As for the financial burden, it's a question of government budget allocation. As long as it is necessary, the burden shouldn't be a reason to reject good policies." "Time's up," the moderator announced, finally bringing an end to the heated confrontation between the 2. While these 2 were engaged in their verbal duel, the other 6 participants had been drinking water and watching the show, quietly enjoying this pair of enemies arguing. Meow Meow is deep in thought. Senior sister Qi is so imposing. She looks more solemn than usual. Jojo loves kanji, ha ha ha. Actually, she's fine under normal circumstances, but the other debater today is Zhao Liu. It's that guy who looks cheerful and easygoing. Jojo loves kanji. Whenever he's around, your senior sister Qi turns into a powder keg. Don't be frightened. Frightened? Not really. I just didn't expect to find material by watching a debate. With this thought in mind, Zhang Miao had already added Zhao Liu and Qi Lianyu to his character profiles library. Chapter 28, quite exciting. After the closing arguments from the 4th debaters on both sides, the exhibition match officially came to an end. The 50 to 60 first years in the audience applauded enthusiastically, marking a satisfactory conclusion to the debate. There were no judges since it wasn't a formal competition, so there was no need to determine the winner. Of the 8 debaters on the stage, only Qi Lianyu was still glaring at Zhao Liu with a resentful expression, probably still brainstorming how to counter his concluding argument. Meanwhile, Zhao Liu had already stood up and walked to the front of the stage. He took the moderator's role and smiled warmly at the new students in the classroom as he explained the basics and rules of the interview and the first-year debate competition. The interview process was actually quite simple. The debate topic was the same as tonight's exhibition match. Participants would present their arguments and debate in pairs, with each group given a total of 4 minutes. The interviews would be very fast. But after Zhang Miao followed Wang Xin to sign up, he discovered something very concerning. Although there were 50 to 60 people in the classroom, the number of people signing up seemed to be only 30 to 40. The others were probably dragged here by their friends to accompany them and had no intention of signing up for the competition. This is quite a predicament. Zhang Miao looked at the registration form on the front desk, wondering if it was too late to back out now. However, as long as he performed poorly enough, he shouldn't be chosen, right? Alright, thank you for signing up. We will text you the results by tomorrow morning, the senior sister in charge of the interviews said with a smile. Zhang Miao let out a long sigh of relief and followed Wang Xin out of the classroom anxiously. Did you hold back? Wang Xin turned to look at Zhang Miao. You shouldn't be so nervous after watching the exhibition match, right? Since they signed up together, they were arranged to interview together, making them one-on-one opponents. The result was that Zhang Miao got crushed and didn't even say a complete sentence during the debate. I guess I was too nervous. Zhang Miao forced an explanation while avoiding Wang Xin's gaze. I probably won't be chosen. Good luck, Prince. No worries. The results aren't out yet. Anything is possible. Please, don't jinx it. Where are you going now? Wang Xin asked. I'm still planning to go to the Academic Association to take a look. Want to come? No, the debate team is enough for me. I'm leaving. Zhang Miao waved his hand, planning to slip back to right. Wang Xin nodded. Before leaving, he came in front of Zhang Miao and solemnly straightened his slightly crooked collar. Then he let out a comfortable sigh and waved goodbye. Zhang Miao. You're making it really easy for people to get the wrong idea. He shook his head helplessly at Wang Xin's misophobia and obsessive-compulsive disorder, then went down the stairs to the first floor and prepared to return to his dorm. But just as he walked out of the stairwell, a familiar voice stopped him. Junior brother? What a coincidence! Su Huizhou happened to walk out of the restroom on the first floor after washing her hands and bumped into Zhang Miao coming down the stairs. Did the interview for the debate team go smoothly? Ahaha, Zhang Miao laughed awkwardly and scratched his head. It went smoothly, I guess. If he could be eliminated, it would indeed be quite smooth. So, what are you up to now? Su Huizhou asked with a smile, tilting her head. If you're free, how about coming to the publicity department for an interview? Senior sister, please spare me. Zhang Miao raised his hands in surrender. I'm about to return to my dorm. I see. Is there an urgent matter you need to do in your dorm? Su Huizhou asked. If not, could you help me with something? It's not exactly urgent. Because of the interview tonight, Zhang Miao had already uploaded the 2 chapters for today during the day. Even if he went back to write, it would be for tomorrow's chapters. Then come with me. Su Huizhou reached out to grab his wrist and walked towards the west gate of the Department of Accounting building. Wait. Senior sister, Zhang Miao's mind went blank for a moment when the soft and smooth hand held his wrist. It took him a second to process what was happening. Is this holding hands? Not really. It's just my wrist. But still, senior sister's hand is cool and soft. So comfortable. Zhang Miao couldn't remember the last time a girl his age had physical contact with him. It was probably when the teacher in elementary school made everyone hold hands in line. In a daze, he was pulled by Su Huizhou out of the building and then released. He instinctively touched his right wrist with his left hand as though he was still savoring the exquisite sensation. It felt as if his entire body had been electrocuted. By the time he returned to his senses, he had already followed Su Huizhou to the bubble tea shop in the library. Senior sister, if you wanted bubble tea, you could have just said so. What are you thinking? I'm buying it for the students in the association, Su Huizhou said while ordering the bubble tea. Everyone has worked hard today, so I'm treating them to a cup of boba. You're really considerate. Well, I am a deputy secretary after all. Su Huizhou smiled and asked teasingly, are you regretting joining the youth association? It's still not too late now. No. Humph, you're really heartless. My heart is warm. Is that a joke? It's so cold. The two found a seat in the bubble tea shop and chatted while waiting for the drinks. I feel that Peach Jam has been really diligent these past 2 days. Su Huizhou took out her phone and looked at the latest chapter released in the afternoon. She sighed. If she keeps up this pace and writes well, it's definitely possible to do well. Zhang Miao turned his head to the side. Isn't it all thanks to you? If senior sister hadn't introduced him to the political work group, he probably would have had to stop releases due to heat stroke. If that had affected the performance of his new novel, it would have been too late for regrets. Thinking of this, Zhang Miao felt even more grateful to senior sister. Not only was she a loyal fan and even helped him take sick leave, but she even brought him into the relaxed political work group. If not for the fact that he was worried about exposing his identity as Peach Jam, senior sister would be the perfect ideal target. He was referring to friends. Romance was impossible for him to pursue, so how he sustained this kind of life was to write romance novels. Moreover, senior sister had no intention of falling in love, so Zhang Miao felt at ease. Senior sister, have you read the latest chapter? What do you think of it? Zhang Miao pretended to ask casually. It's really interesting. Su Hui's whose expression and tone changed as soon as she talked about this topic. She became like a gleeful little girl with sparkling eyes. When the female lead's parents came to the city to see them and they had dinner together, she actually stretched her leg and teased the male lead with her foot under the table. Although Zhang Miao liked this plot point too, he still felt a little embarrassed when senior sister said it in front of him. Ahem. So you like this kind of thing? That's right. Can't girls like this kind of thing? Su Huizhou said matter-of-factly. It's very exciting. Don't you think so? It's quite exciting, Zhang Miao replied with a forced smile. But in his mind, he was fantasizing about senior sister stretching her leg under the table. Okay, he was getting carried away. How could this kind of thing happen? Just as Zhang Miao was thinking this, he suddenly felt a gentle brush on his calf. He widened his eyes and looked at senior sister. She was covering her mouth and giggling. See? It's indeed quite exciting. Senior sister, stop joking around. Chapter 29, He drank the bubble tea I drank. There were a total of 24 cups of bubble tea. Su Huizhou and Zhang Miao waited for about 15 minutes. The bubble tea for Su Huizhou and Zhang Miao was brought to their seats in advance, and the two enjoyed their drinks. Boss, how much is the total? I'll pay first, Su Huizhou asked, suddenly thinking of this in the middle of their conversation. She took out her phone and scanned the QR code. 24 cups, a total of 384 yuan. How much is mine? Su Huizhou raised the red bean bubble tea in his hand. Yours is 16 yuan. I see. Su Huizhou nodded with a smile as her fingers moved on her phone. Soon, a serious female voice came from the cashier area. Payment received from Alipay, 368 yuan. Zhang Miao was puzzled. Senior sister, did you pay less? No. Su Huizhou bit her straw and blinked at him with a smile. Isn't this one on you, junior brother? You're really squeezing me. Zhang Miao laughed, not minding. He took out his phone to pay the remaining 16 yuan. It's not a good habit to pay after the fact. Girls are very good at keeping track of accounts, Su Huizhou said with a straight face. I've treated you 4 times, but you've only returned the favor twice. Has it really been 4 times? Zhang Miao recalled the number of times in the past week and felt it wasn't that many. Of course it has. Su Huizhou began counting with her fingers. Once when school started, once in the office, once after the class meeting, and once on the sports field, exactly 4 times. Senior sister, when school started, you offered to treat me as a class assistant. The time in the office was because I helped you. After the class meeting, you wanted to apologize for my pants. As for the time on the sports field, Zhang Miao counted with his fingers and analyzed seriously before frowning slightly. Didn't senior sister Qi treat us that time? Su Huizhou was at a loss for words, then immediately became annoyed and stepped on him under the table. You won't be able to find a girlfriend like this. It's precisely because I don't intend to date you that I'm talking like this. Even if you say that, I won't be happy. Su Huizhou glared at him before turning her head away. But I'm not interested in you that way either, so let's call it even. Even if a girl doesn't like a boy, will she be angry because the boy said to her face he isn't interested in her? Zhang Miao suddenly became interested in this topic. Isn't it the same the other way around? Su Huizhou thought for a moment. If a pretty girl says to your face she's not interested in you, you won't be happy either. Zhang Miao stroked his chin thoughtfully. So, are you saying I'm handsome? Shameless, Su Huizhou scolded jokingly just as the bubble tea was ready. She stood up, patted the table, and instructed, it's your turn to play your role. I'll leave the heavy lifting to you. Senior sister, please help me hold this. Zhang Miao handed his cup of red bean bubble tea to her right hand, then picked up the other 22 cups of bubble tea and walked out of the shop with her. Su Huizhou walked in front with a cup of bubble tea in each hand. She subconsciously took a sip of the bubble tea in her right hand and walked while saying, "If you join the youth association, there will be a lot of free boba in the future. I'll pass. Girls who are good at keeping track of accounts are scary. Junior brother, it's not a good habit for boys to be too calculative. Isn't that a double standard?" The two of them bickered all the way back to the Department of Accounting and arrived at the classroom where the Youth Association's publicity department was recruiting new members. As soon as they walked in, Su Huizhou waved at a short-haired girl inside. "Xiaoun, come here. I bought boba. Please distribute it to everyone." The girl named Xiaoun ran over, took 12 cups of bubble tea from Zhang Miao, and distributed them to the others in the department. Zhang Miao looked down at the remaining 10 cups in his right hand and asked curiously, "Senior sister, did you buy too many?" "Nope. There's still the share for the debate team upstairs," Su Huizhou said. "Your senior sister Qi asked me to buy them together." "Oh." Zhang Miao nodded and reached out to take his cup of bubble tea from senior sister's hand. Su Huizhou subconsciously loosened her right hand and returned the cup to him. But the next second, she was stunned on the spot, and her eyes suddenly widened. "Wait." Before she could finish her sentence, Zhang Miao had already taken a sip. "What's wrong?" He swallowed the bubble tea, looking puzzled. "Did I take the wrong one? I remember mine was in your right hand." "And no. I just remembered wrongly." Su Huizhou quickly turned around and walked briskly out of the classroom. "Let's go upstairs to deliver the boba." "Okay." Zhang Miao followed her while sipping the bubble tea in his hand, but he couldn't shake the feeling that there seemed to be a little less in his cup. "It's probably just my imagination." But only Su Huizhou knew how big the blunder was. As they walked up the stairs, she kept glancing back. As soon as she saw Zhang Miao's lips wrapped around the straw, her face turned hot. The thought that she had drunk from the same cup earlier made her so mortified that she wished she could find a hole to hide in. Fortunately, junior brother didn't notice anything unusual. Otherwise, she might have died on the spot. It was too embarrassing. As the two of them continued up the stairs, a familiar voice came from the stairwell on the second floor. "There shouldn't be a rule about giving money to good people. If you have the ability, take out a feasible mechanism to distribute money. If you can't take it out, you're just engaging in sophistry. Please spare me. Haven't I already admitted defeat? You're not even serious. During the free debate, you were just muddling through without any real effort. You didn't treat this debate seriously at all. The affirmative side of a policy debate is always a disadvantage, especially with such an outlandish hypothetical topic," Zhao Liu pointed out helplessly while leaning lazily against the wall. "If you insist on questioning the feasibility of policy implementation, no matter what theory or hypothesis the affirmative side presents, it's bound to have flaws. That's no excuse for your lackluster approach to the match." Qi Lianyu crossed her arms and harumphed coldly, even though she had nothing to hold. Yes, my dear secretary. I promise to be serious next time," Zhao Liu said with a smile. "Can you let me go now? We're in the debate team now. Please call me vice captain." Qi Lianyu frowned. "Also, you're the captain. Please act like one." "Okay, I'll listen to you." Zhao Liu nodded perfunctorily. At a glance, he saw Su Huizhou walking up the stairs. His eyes lit up, and he quickly waved. "Sister Zhou. Can you quickly take your Yuyu away? Why are you calling Jojo sister? Why don't you call me sister?" "Well," Zhao Liu raised his hand and gestured to Qi Lianyu's head before moving it down to his chest. "It's hard to call you that, right? Go to hell." Qi Lianyu finally lost her temper, stomped on his foot, and stormed back to the classroom. "You two are still the same as ever." Su Huizhou laughed, enjoying the good show. Being captain is such a tough job. Zhao Liu yawned and smiled helplessly at Su Huizhou before following her to the classroom. "If only our vice captains could be a bit gentler." Chapter 30, I can teach you everything I know. Previous chapter. Next chapter. After delivering the bubble tea to the debate team's recruitment classroom, Zhang Miao completed his task, said goodbye to senior sister, and prepared to leave. Su Huizhou looked at the straw in junior brother's mouth and blinked with complicated emotions, feeling too embarrassed to call him back to stay. Thus, Zhang Miao finally escaped senior sister's clutches and walked out of the side gate of the Department of Accounting building. As soon as he stepped out, he saw Sun Liang and his aloof girlfriend in front. Just as he was about to say hello, he saw Sun Liang hug his girlfriend's slender waist and walk into the groove, making him immediately shut his mouth and return to his dorm room with a bitter expression. How unlucky! Zhang Miao grumbled while sipping the bubble tea that seemed sweeter than usual. This bastard's progress is too fast. He's already reached the stage of late-night trysts in the grove. Are college students' relationships so open these days? Zhang Miao shook his head and sighed. In the end, he threw these thoughts aside and prepared to return to his dorm room to continue writing. Relationships were too time-consuming. Just look at Sun Liang. He still had to spend time doing bad things in the middle of the night instead of something productive. With this time, wouldn't it be better to write a few more chapters? No, I shouldn't bear this suffering alone. I have to share it with my dear readers. So, an hour and a half later, in room 412 of Building 31, Zhang Miao uploaded the latest chapter to the author's dashboard. After scheduling the chapter's release time, he wrote in the author's message. Author's note, today, during the association recruitment event, my roommate took his girlfriend of less than 1 week to the Grove, while I'm still working hard to write here. This sacrifice is surely worth a recommendation vote, right? Too miserable. Zhang Miao looked at these few lines of text and teared up. Presumably, any upstanding person would be moved to tears and willingly vote for him. As he was thinking this, Wang Xin and Sun Liang returned. Looking at Sun Liang's high-spirited appearance, Zhang Miao didn't want to be nice to him. He just wanted to throw this walking dog food into the Qiantang River. The results of the debate team interviews are out. Did you receive a text message? Wang Xin walked into the room and tidied up the shoe cabinet before turning to Zhang Miao. Zhang Miao, who was still proud of cranking out an extra chapter tonight, was stunned. He quickly took out his phone and checked. Sure enough, a text message had come a few minutes ago. With nervousness, Zhang Miao opened the message. When he saw the content, he almost vomited blood. Text notification: Hello, student. Congratulations on passing the interview for the Department of Accounting's debate team tonight. Please arrive at class 215 in the department's building at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. There will be team assignments for the first-year debate competition. If you cannot attend, please contact Vice Captain Senior Sister Chi Lianyu to explain your situation in advance. Senior Sister's WeChat, XXXX. You passed. Wang Xin walked over to take a look and patted his shoulder. Grats. Maybe we'll be teammates. Heh, hee. Zhang Miao wasn't happy at all, feeling that it was rigged. Recalling that Su Huizhou was roommates with Qi Lianyu, vice captain of the debate team, Zhang Miao felt he might have figured out the truth. So he immediately copied Senior Sister Qi WeChat number and sent her a friend request. It seemed Qi Lianyu was on her phone because she quickly accepted the friend request. Miao Miao is deep in thought. Senior Sister Qi, I'm Zhang Miao. Yuelian in the mist, oh, it's you? Yuelian in the mist, what's the matter? You can't make it to the debate team tomorrow night? Miao Miao is deep in thought. No, it's not that. I just wanted to ask something. I felt that my performance in the interview today was very ordinary. Why did I pass? Did Senior Sister Su say something? A with circumflex B. Yuelian in the mist, you're overthinking it. There are very few new students who are interested in debate. The highest number of applicants we've had for the first year competition in a year is 78, but only 43 people signed up this year. Yuelian in the mist, so the interview for the first year competition has always just been a formality. As long as you show up to sign up for the competition, you'll pass the interview. Zhang Miao. Is this fucking reasonable? The other associations are bustling, but the debate team is this shabby? Do you really take in anyone? Yuelian in the mist, for people who haven't had much exposure to debate before, it's already difficult for them to formulate arguments and debate. Yuelian in the mist, and this is only the first year competition, not the debate team's recruitment. Essentially, the first year debate competition is part of the debate team's recruitment process. Yuelian in the mist, if you make it to the finals of the first year competition, the team members can apply directly to join the debate team. Miao Miao is deep in thought. I see. Miao Miao is deep in thought. Thank you, Senior Sister Qi. Sorry to disturb you. Yuelian in the mist, no problem. Remember to be on time tomorrow night. Miao Miao is deep in thought. Sure. Zhang Miao put down his phone and sighed. But then again, senior sister Chi was usually quite normal, and the replies were very formal. It was difficult to imagine that this appearance was the same as the proud woman in the stairwell. Sure enough, girls only show their true colors in front of the boys they like. With this thought in mind, Zhang Miao couldn't help thinking about senior sister. She seems to fit this standard, but perhaps I'm overthinking. My conclusion doesn't seem universal. If senior sister liked him, he would rather believe that all readers would subscribe to the official version. Clearly, that was impossible. Just then, a new message came on WeChat. Jojo loves kanji, congratulations, you've made it into the debate competition. What's there to congratulate? Zhang Miao wasn't happy at all. Miao Miao is deep in thought, senior sister, what's the format of the debate competition? I can't handle it if it's too demanding. Jojo loves kanji, don't worry. It won't be too tiring. Jojo loves kanji, there are a total of 8 teams in this first year competition, with 5 or 6 people in each team, divided into 2 halves. Jojo loves kanji, the 4 teams in each half will take turns to compete. Each team will have 3 matches, and then the top 2 teams from each half will advance to the semifinals. Jojo loves kanji, the top team from one half will compete against the second team in the other half, and the winning team will advance to the finals. The whole process takes about a month, and a team only has 5 matches at most. In that case, it didn't seem too tough. Zhang Miao held his chin and pondered. If his team wasn't very strong, they might get eliminated after 3 matches. And since there were 5 or 6 people in each team, he might not need to participate in every match. He might only need to appear in 1 or 2 matches in the entire first year competition. Jojo loves kanji, have you ever debated before? I can give you some special treatment. Miao Miao is deep in thought, senior sister, you also know how to debate? Jojo loves kanji, I know a bit. Jojo loves kanji, if I have enough boba, I can teach you everything I know. Miao Miao is deep in thought. So the boba is the main point, right? Jojo loves kanji, didn't I say it before? Girls are very good at keeping track of accounts.